Hello everyone, I'm Rabbi Michael Shields, Associate Rabbi here at Temple Sinai. Welcome to another edition of the Middah of the Week. And we are entering into a Haftarah portion that focuses in on the value, the Middah of Bechira, of choosing. And I'll get to that in a minute. Let's lead up to it. So this week's Torah portion, Re'eh, begins with a single word, Re'eh, see. Interesting way for Moses to begin. He doesn't say listen. He doesn't say obey. He doesn't even begin with a commandment. He simply says, see this day I set before you blessing and curse. First glance, it seems obvious. Of course we would choose blessing over curse. But Moses isn't talking about one dramatic choice. He's talking about the hundreds of ordinary choices that kind of quietly shape our lives each and every day in, day out, week in, week out. And Judaism has this understanding that I think, kind of intuitive understanding of something that modern psychology is only beginning to emphasize. Our lives are not formed primarily by our biggest decisions. They're actually formed by our smallest repeated ones. Who do I call today? How do I speak to the person in front of me? Do I assume the best about someone or the worst? Do I choose gratitude or resentment? Do I spend a few moments in prayer or race through another day on autopilot? One choice may seem insignificant, kind of on an island, but over weeks and months and even years, those small choices become habits. Habits become character. Character becomes the life that we live. That's why Moses begins with the word re'eh, see. Because before we choose wisely, we have to notice that we're making a choice at all. The Haftarah from Isaiah deepens this idea in a surprising way. Near the end of it, the prophet asks, why do you spend your money for that which is not bread and your labor for that which does not satisfy? Listen to me and you shall enjoy what is good. Isaiah isn't only talking about money, he's talking about something so much deeper. What are you spending your life on? And every day we spend something, right? We spend time, we spend attention, we spend emotional energy, we spend kindness or impatience. We spend or give our focus. The question isn't whether we're spending ourselves. The question is whether we're investing in things that nourish our souls. That's so relevant today. How many of us doom scroll through our phones and still feel empty? We can accumulate accomplishments and still wonder why we don't feel fulfilled. We can be constantly busy without ever really feeling like we're becoming the people we hope to be. And so the prophet Isaiah reminds us that not everything that captures our attention deserves our attention. Not everything that promises satisfaction can actually satisfy. Judaism has never taught that every choice carries the same weight. Some choices lead us towards blessing, and some pull us away from the life we want to build. And that's where Bechira, choosing, comes into play. Not choosing once, choosing every day, choosing to call that friend you've been meaning to call, to apologize instead of becoming defensive, to learn something Jewish this week, to learn something this week, choosing to be fully present at the dinner table and put that phone aside, choosing generosity over fear, curiosity instead of judgment, choosing to become just a little bit more like the person God created you to be. Those midot, those attributes are inside of us. We just have to bring them into focus and bring them into balance. This week also ushers in the month of Elul, the final month before the High Holy Days. I think there's often a misconception or a misunderstanding about Elul. People imagine it's meant to make us feel guilty, to dredge up every mistake we've made over the past year. But that's not really what Elul is inviting us into. Elul isn't about guilt. It's really about intentionality. It's the gentle reminder that we don't become the better people by accident. We become better people one choice at a time. The work of teshuvah, of repentance, doesn't begin on Rosh Hashanah or Yom Kippur. It begins on an ordinary Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday afternoon when we choose patience over frustration. It begins when we make the phone call that we've been avoiding, offer the apology we've been holding back or postponing, or spend 5 minutes in gratitude instead of 5 more minutes scrolling. The Yamim Noraim, the high holy days, don't suddenly transform us. They simply shine a light on the choices we've already begun to make. One of my favorite teachings from Pirkei Avot says, everything is foreseen, yet freedom of choice is given. God knows our potential, but God never takes away our ability to choose. That is both the challenge and the gift of being human. So this week, as Elul begins, I invite you to ask one simple question. In what am I investing my life? Not just my money, my attention, my time, my energy, my heart. Because every day we're choosing something. May we have the wisdom to see our choices clearly. May we have the courage to choose what truly nourishes our souls. And may those small, faithful choices lead us towards lives of blessing for ourselves, for those we love, and for our community. Wishing you an early Shabbat Shalom.